Effective communication. I'm Sabina Morozini-Turcinovic, and here are some tips to increase your impact on others and lead your teams with excellence. Great leaders are great communicators. Leaders are skilled in relationships, in influencing, and overall communication. So it gets labeled as soft skills, but it is really a hard business driver. And there's a hard science underneath it so that we understand how it works. Leaders communicate differently than the average individual contributor. We are going to look at 5 ways how leaders communicate differently than the average employee or average member of an organization. First, leaders communicate authentically. Let's start with nonverbal. When you see someone, what part of the body do you look at first? Most people say eyes, face, or mouth. Some of them even shoes, but no, not shoes. The first place we look is the hands. And this is left over from our caveman days. Because if we were approached by stranger cavemen, the first place we look, where are the hands? Where are the hands to see if they were carrying a rock of a spear? We wanted to know if we were safe, if they were friends or enemies. When we can't see someone's hands, something interesting happens. So, I just did something a little mean to your brain. You should start to feel just a little bit uncomfortable. And the reason for that is when you can't see my hands, you wonder, what is she doing back there? And then, the longer I have my hands behind my back, you get more and more distracted because you can't see them. And eventually, your brain is screaming, can she just bring her hands up from behind her back? And the moment I bring them back out, it feels so much better. And this is because our brain knows that if we can't see hands, we can't see intention. After analyzing thousands of hours of TED Talks, Vanessa Van Edwards described a pattern with a hand gesture. The most popular TED Talkers use an average of 465 hand gestures in 18 minutes. And the least popular TED Talkers use an average of 272 hand gestures, almost half. The best communicators are showing you, I know my content so well that I can speak to you on 2 different tracks. I can speak to you with my words, but I can also explain my concept with my hands. And this is the way they look, more authentic. Authentic means in tune with emotional state that you're actually in. They underline their concept with their words. For example, if I were to say, today I have a really big idea, it's huge, you laugh and you are confused. And this is because your brain gives 12.5 times more weight to hand gestures. So, today I have a really big idea. Leaders communicate differently. Second, leaders know how to impact the world around them. Research has shown that we affect others. If our emotions affect others, how do we make sure that we are influencing people with right ones? Leaders know that they can affect others non-verbally, with non-verbal expression. If I just start smiling a little more, you're going to start smiling and we are going to start mirroring back and forth. And if I stop doing it, it will pull you a little that way. What is interesting about facial expression is that they cause our emotions. So not only do our emotions cause our face, but our face also causes our emotions. The more we smile, the happier we are. We have real happiness micro-expression which occurs when the smile reaches all the way up in the upper cheek muscles. And this is very important. Because when you tell a frenemy good news, it's look like this. Oh yeah, I'm so happy for you. And when you try to express fake smile, it doesn't feel so good. Oh my God, it feels so inauthentic. If you go all the way up to your eyes, smile all the way up the upper cheek muscles, oh, that's one should feel so much better. What is interesting about this facial expression is it causes our own happiness, and we also catch it when we see it. Different experiments have shown that persons with happiness microexpressions are more likable. This is the happy side effect of having your confidence to influence others. Not only that you influence others with that happiness, you also become more likable. How do we influence people verbally? Vanessa Van Edwards found out which patterns produce the highest quality conversation that affects us physiologically. She found that the conversational starters that work are centered on dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that we produce when we feel pleasure or when we get a reward. The worst ranked conversation starters, the ones that got the lowest ratings, the ones that produced the lowest volume, the ones that got the most leans away, worst head nods, worst microexpression, those were the ones that we use the most. What do you do? How are you? Where are you from? From a physiological and psychological perspective, have no effect, no pleasure. Conversation starters that could spark or create excitement are the ones that verbally trigger dopamine. Our brain is amazing. If you ask somebody a question, brain tends to look for similarities. If you ask someone, "Have you been busy lately?" the brain immediately looks for all the hits of being busy. They think about negative things that have happened, the stress, the business. Whereas if you ask someone, "Working on anything exciting recently?" the brain immediately begins to look for all the hits of excitement, starts to think about the good and happy things, all the excitement that's going on in their own life. And that does two things. One, it creates pleasure for them. You are literally asking them to borrow excitement for other places in their life and bring it to the situation that you are in. The other thing is that it does to make you more memorable. So here's my challenge for today. Instead of using the typical, "What do you do? Where are you from? How are you?" try ones that ask the brain to look for excitement. Working anything exciting these days? Have any vacations coming up? Anything good happens today? We are asking people to flip into optimism. Third, when we come to the verbal communication, leaders are concise. They figure out what they want to say and they say it in about 1 or 2 sentences. The advantage to this is that it sounds confident. When you are able to express yourself clearly, it sounds like, wow, they really know what they think. The other advantage is that when they say something precise, it is much more likely to land and people can understand it and then react to it positively. Fourth, leaders can speak outside their own area of expertise, and they're able to articulate the value of the other areas of expertise as well. For example, let's say they come out for a financial background, that's how they rose up. They're able to look at operations, at IT, at marketing, at engineering, HR, and so forth, and they're able to say exactly what those other areas contribute. And that's a powerful thing. Leaders can notice and learn about the other areas and then even speak about the good value that those other areas contribute. And they are valuable. If they weren't valuable, they wouldn't be part of the organization. Fifth, leaders communicate strategically. Bringing organizational vision into life, leaders inspire people and influence their behavior. This is the level above departments. So they talk about the coordination between and among the departments, they talk about strategy and how those different departments are moving in the same direction toward the same goals and same vision. Leaders step above those individual departments, they are taking about to the overall coordination of those different efforts. After all, good leaders can connect just about every single project or task that is being done to the overall organization, to the overall enterprise, to the vision, mission, and goals that the organization is trying to reach. They're going to put in a plain language. If you can talk about the business, not just your area now, you're sounding like a leader. So those are 5 ways that leaders communicate differently than individual contributors. I hope that you see it's not just a way of communicating and talking, but there is a mindset underneath. So it's a way of thinking and a way of communicating. You can find basic communication skills like active listening and assertive behavior in Joyful Leadership Manual. We will do some more communication in practice during leadership training. Right words combined with powerful gestures and tone could inspire all of us. Have a nice communication day.